This conference will now be recorded.
So we're going to start with Jenkins, a series of videos like how to run Jenkins with our project RoboShop. And for that, so I'm going to start with from the bare installation to so end-to-end automation for project with the Jenkins AI. So for doing that, so I would like to start creating an instance, and so I can use that particular instance in installing Jenkins. So I will just use my AMI. So for installing Jenkins, and I can go for some small instance, some T3 small. And I can choose the security group, which allows all the ports open. Okay, I'm just opening all the ports and just try to launch the instance. So the instance might be up by this time, so I can just go and like try to log into that instance. All right, cool. So since our image or AMI will try to stop the instance if it is not being used for or logged into the terminal for the last 60 minutes or 60 minutes idle time, it will shut down the server automatically. I don't want to do that, so probably I can just go for so disabling the auto shutdown so that I'll not face any kind of issues. So this is to start with. So my Jenkins machine is ready and I can just go and install the Jenkins. So to install the Jenkins, let's go to their website and let's go with installation. So since our is a Red Hat family, CentOS we are using, I can go with the CentOS, and they provide just a couple of steps, just run them. And the first command is actually downloading the repo file, which is going to have the Jenkins installation. And that particular repo file is going to have some GPG check. So for that, you are importing the GPG key here. Okay, you're done. So you can just go and install Jenkins. So yum install Jenkins. At the same time, it requires a Java as well. So I'm installing Java. It's a CentOS 7 operating system, so it usually comes up with the Java 8 version. So any version is okay. So Java 8 comes out of default as in this one. We'll just use just installing Java 8. And once after the installation is done, so we can yum install sudo yum part is already done, and the systemctl enable Jenkins so that it will just start at the time of reboot, and just go for start Jenkins. Okay, so these are the couple of things which is I'm going to see, and now I'm going to go for sudo tail-f/var log Jenkins, and then Jenkins.log file. So ideally you should be seeing that Jenkins is fully up and running. Yeah, fine. So that means my Jenkins is ready. I can go and hit on this particular I can go and hit this particular one on the browser. So that's where I can take this public IP, okay, and put it on the browser. So, and it just goes on the port number :8080. So 80, and you have, and so it is going to come as a plain port, so which I don't want to have it in that way. So if I want to enable some HTTPS, so the best way is a proxy that with Nginx, okay, or any web server. I can go for proxying this with Nginx so that I can make enable of HTTPS. And the HTTPS also I can go for or HTTPS also I can HTTPS also I can go for getting the actual certificate from Let's Encrypt, or I can go for a self-signed certificate. Okay, so we can do either of the way. So since it is actually trying to use it on the public, so I will just go for a proper HTTPS certificate, and this IP will change if I stop the server and start the server, right? So just to keep that in mind, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for elastic IPs, and I will reserve a new elastic IP. I'll just go and ask a new IP, and this IP is chargeable if it is not being used, and if it is being attached to the server, and if it is running, so there won't be any charges coming to, or there won't be any charges it incur actually, so which is not a problem. So I will just go on actions like associate this elastic IP address, and which I'm going to use my instance, which is Jenkins server, and this is the IP address. Just to associate to that, you can associate it. All right, you're done. So that means your instance, the IP address has been changed, so this IP address is no more. So so session also is being hung now. Because why? Because there's a new IP address being allocated to the system. So this is a new IP. So now let me open a new that. So the new IP has been pointed. So the same one which I will register in my Route 53, so that I can always use the name rather than the IP address. So I have a couple of domains out there. So we have been using one domain for some time. So I can just go for this one, and I'll just say create a record. And so I just want to create a simple one, choose it as a record, create it. And the record is ready, so I will just go and install Nginx. All right, so sudo yum install Nginx, or in fact, so we have a lab auto, right? So lab auto is the one so which comes from this particular image, so which you can choose. It can install Nginx along with the certificate, right? You know that. So Let's Encrypt certificate it will pull, and it will do that. So for that one, I just wanted to go with Let's Encrypt 19 number. I will choose 19, and it is missing some certificate name. So export sort name is equal to Jenkins.devops49.tech, right? So this is the one. So to this server, so this is the DNS name which I made it. So I'll be referring that, and now I'll go for installing it once again. Again, it's missing export sort underscore name. Export sort name is equal to this one. So then it's supposed to be, oh, I'm using sudo. Yeah, sudo will cause the session issue. So I'll just go to sudo su hyphen, and I'll just give export. Sudo name is this, and then lab choose 19. It will go and install Nginx, and it will go on to get certificate directly from Let's Encrypt from CLI, and everything it's going to take care. So all we just need to is just bear with it to get the certificate. So I'm just trying to follow a standard practice of installation. So I just installed the Jenkins, but Jenkins I don't want to go with a custom port like 8080 or something like that. And also at the same time, so I don't want to put my application on a HTTP layer. I want to move it on the secure layer so that your content, whatever you transfer, is going to be secure. Okay, so that's the idea. So the Let's Encrypt has told that, so it has kept the certificate in this particular location, which you can use them and configure your Nginx. So vim/etc Nginx. So you got the Nginx configuration, and even my script should be keeping. Yeah, I already kept the files under server.crt and server.key file, which is also fine. And also I went with conf.d, no, nothing. So nginx.conf file. So I would have configured the nginx also. No, HTTPS, no. All right, not a problem. I can just go and do this now. If someone hits my server on HTTPS, I should be doing something now. So I will go with uncommenting this configuration. So which is a default configuration. I'm just enabling the configuration. I think the remaining lines are not really needed, so which is fine. Now, whenever they hit the location, I just want to do the reverse proxy. So I'll just go and give proxy underscore pass and http://localhost:8080 and then semicolon slash, in fact. Okay, so this is what I wanted to do. And also I'll go for the certificates has been given as so it is actually etc nginx, this one, and it is etc nginx, and is also kept under directly nginx. So yeah, the same lines, and you can just. All right, so these are the two files which I automatically kept it in the nginx configuration as a part of the lab auto script which executed, and systemctl restart nginx. So now it's throwing an error. Let's take a look why you're getting that. Nginx, and in the line number 92, so some line actually is need to be enabled. So yeah, so you open the configuration, you didn't closed it. Cool. So systemctl restart nginx, it's done. Status nginx, it's up and running. Cool. So now if I go and hit this particular server, so jenkins.devops49.tech. Okay. So you're going to get a default web page because you hit HTTP. Now I need to go with https://. So then I will go for location / it's a proxy. You're going to get it, and you're going to get the Jenkins one. And also, in fact, I just want to go for my HTTP traffic also. I would like to redirect with HTTPS. Then I should be doing HTTP to HTTP redirection. I'll be doing in Nginx on the HTTP configuration. So let me go and do that. So VIM. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the redirection of traffic from HTTP to HTTPS. So how do I do that? So let's take a look here. So what all you need, I just need to do is I just need to write a it's actually going to be return to 301, I would say, which is a redirect. Also, where I have to redirect is https:// and to the same server. So that means I'm going to give host, and whatever you're giving it, so the URI, I will put that also, request underscore URI. So these are things. So the same host, whatever I have given, like jenkins.devops49, to the same host it's going to redirect, and also the URI / or / whatever it is, I will just choose this. All right, so 7 quit, and once again restart the Jenkins so that it will get affected, but there's some error. Say Nginx, and the line number unknown directive spelling wrong, return spelling wrong. Yeah. Cool. It's running. Now I go and give http:// Jenkins dot. This one, even it redirects now to HTTPS. Automatically, all my traffic will be now on HTTPS with a proper certificate. Okay, it's been in cache. Let me try to refresh. Now you'll get to redirected to actual website. Cool, and fine. Now in my Jenkins, there is a password here. So it is just cat this file. So you're going to get one temporary password. So you just take that so that you can proceed with the installation. Now Jenkins is a utility, so which will help you in automation, and it's majorly a CI tool. But we'll talk about the CI. But for now, it's just Jenkins as an automation tool. I want to run certain automation. Okay, so that's where I will choose. I'm just choosing Jenkins for now. And that's where for each, I mean, let's say if you want to enable some functionality into Jenkins, so you need to enable that by using some plugins. So Jenkins comes with, the installation is telling you suggested plugins. If you're a beginner, you can choose this particular option, or if you know what you're actually going through, then you can choose this particular option. So just as a beginner, we can start it here. So install suggested plugins is fine. So I'll just start here and let's proceed from there. Let it install all the required plugins. Then probably later we can go with customizing the installation as well. Okay, but for now, just to start with, here it is. Cool. And it's asking to create one user, so I'll just use a default user, something admin, but I'll just keep my password. That's it. Yeah, now that there's a problem here. So now after you do the save, it's actually not coming up. You see this? And I have to go with the refresh again. It actually starts from here. After actually doing the save, it's actually not coming. That's the problem. Basically, your your proxy pass should be adding a little bit more headers actually. Okay. X headers information, you need to add it so that it will work as expected. So now save and continue will not go anywhere basically. So it's actually looking for the header information, but it's been written the headers of Nginx, but not actually the Jenkins one. So we need to do some forwarding there. So I can better search for Nginx reverse proxy for Jenkins. So I will just do this way. Probably I'll find out the information from the Jenkins website itself. So yeah, I think Jenkins.io, here's the one, reverse proxy configuration. How do you do that? They're telling you. So you can just go and take there, and by using Nginx, you are doing the reverse proxy. All you need to do is, so previously we have just kept only a proxy pass, so now we are going to add a little bit more headers and information. Okay, so this is the information they are putting as a default configuration. I will also choose this. I'll also just choose this much information, and ideally we should be knowing what we are keeping it there, but for anyhow the official documentation is giving me that, so I'm entrusting it and I'm just proceeding with the options which is given there. Just enabled all. So there might be some options which is really not needed, require some additional software, certain things which need to be installed. I think set headers are fine. But what is the error? Let's take a look. First of all, what is the error? Is there any semicolons? Did I miss or something? I think everything is fine. Yeah. So let's take a look. What is the problem? So systemctl. Nginx. So connection upgrade variable is something is a problem. Unknown connection upgrade. Yeah. So this option is not needed. Even the HTTP upgrade is also not needed. At least for me, as far I know. So these are the 4 things which are really important here. So the rest of the things are really not needed. Okay. So those are quite optional. And I can go for restart of Nginx. So those will be enabled if you enable some extensions in Nginx. Those options also will work. Okay. So for time being, I am okay with this. And just try to refresh. Now again, it comes to the same password. It will come. So someone continue. Now it will be proceeding. So the header information should be forwarded so that actually collecting the header information here. Okay. So start using Jenkins. Okay, so this is a brand new of Jenkins web page, and from here you can go ahead and configure. You can go ahead and configure, like, so the jobs and all, whatever you want to do. Before going with the jobs, I just want to take you to something. So now let's say it's a Jenkins application. Now if you want to enhance its or if you want to configure the Jenkins, so all the time you'll be going and doing is going under manage Jenkins. You choose appropriate option to just go and do the stuff basically. Like let's say if I want to enable some plugins, I'll be going with manage plugins, or if I want to add some users, I'll go with manage users, or if I want to add some slave machines, I'll be going here. See, based on my requirement, so if whatever the configuration I want to make it, I'll be going into the manage Jenkins, and so I'll be doing that. So since you're actually doing the reverse proxy, so the Jenkins doesn't aware of that. So if you just want to do that, you can break, you can fix certain things. So that's also okay for now. I can just dismiss this. So yeah, anywhere, anytime you want to do, you customize your Jenkins. So you have to come here, manage Jenkins, and you'll be doing that. And apart from this, what you'll be doing is, so create a new items, and so create a type of job, whatever you want to create, just run, create them and run as per your requirement. So job section, we'll just go with that. We'll just go with the next level. So for the starting in this video, so what we're trying to do is we're just trying to install Jenkins, and also we are actually trying to do a reverse proxy. We're trying to do a reverse proxy. So the reverse proxy is so enabling you a HTTPS proxying to Jenkins. But on the other side, we're just trying to install Jenkins, and there are some install wizard steps, whatever you have, and those steps you're just doing some clicks and you're getting it done. Now, usually, like, think about, you want to do end-to-end automation, like, so think about in a company where my Jenkins is a very critical piece of software, okay? And also the problem with the Jenkins is it doesn't support the high availability solution for now, okay? So that means if I just have a Jenkins box, okay, so that means Jenkins has to be a Jenkins. And so let's say if it is, I cannot have two Jenkins like this, and I cannot put a load balancer in between them, okay, and I cannot actually go and balance the load between them, okay. So this option is not available with the straightforward Jenkins version, whatever you are going to use. Now there is this whole setup is not possible. You cannot maintain two servers. You cannot go with the Jenkins load balancer and do that. So it always has to be a standalone. Jenkins is a standalone machine, so that means it doesn't support a cluster. It doesn't support a high availability solution. But yet Jenkins is a very critical piece of software. Why? Because if Jenkins is a kind of Jenkins is a kind of a down, so that even halts your business and development. Not business in the sense like basically development business you take into picture. So it just even halts the developer. They cannot actually proceed further because what are the code they committed. So they just need to check, the post development, what all the things our CI jobs are doing. Those all need to be checked. So that's where this Jenkins piece is actually too critical one. Okay, so that's where we need to ensure that the Jenkins is actually in a available in a very high available way. Okay, so this can be done in two ways. Okay, so one thing is you maintain a so storage basically you maintain one common storage in the backend. That storage you always attach to the instance. So even though you have a problem with this instance, you move this particular instance and create and replace that with another instance. Now now that refers the same data. So that's where you can get certain things actually. What if the data itself has been corrupted? So why I will go Jenkins down due to some issue, so kind of a corruption or kind of a manual removal or something, kind of a upgrade broken the things, whatever it is, my Jenkins data is actually corrupted now. So in that case, so relying on this is not a good idea again. Okay, so that is where, so we need to think about thoroughly when we set up the Jenkins in a high available way. So that can be done by using I would say, so by architecting it in a proper way and using the options which are available in Jenkins in a right way. Okay, so you have to follow the right patterns in Jenkins in order to achieve it. So that is where, but challenges are there, but when you choose something and you have to you have to be in a position to bear the basically like pros and cons as well. Okay, or you should be aware of cons. So first of all, I want to create a Jenkins instance, and all the time I want to have it. And even if I lost it, okay, so even if I lost it and I want to get a new Jenkins instance with all the previous desired configuration, what all the things which I have in previous my Jenkins server, and I want to get it everything. So that is where I am actually trying to look in more of something called as immutable. Okay, so immutable infrastructure is what I'm actually trying to refer. So previously, how we do the things is we used to have a machines, we used to manage it manually, but today automation is coming into picture, right? So everywhere, right from the infrastructure, we'll try to make the automation. Now that's where if I want to create a Jenkins server, so probably I can use some Terraform and all, I can create a server. And after creating the server, if I do the steps manually, like, so opening the UI, doing the clicks, click, click, click. So to configure, I'm not following the immutable way, basically. And tomorrow that server is down, you try to recreate one more server and again, all the steps you need to perform. And some steps you might miss it, and those particular steps might cause some problem again. Okay, so that is the reason. So this immutable infrastructure approach pattern is a real good practice. So what we'll be doing is we'll just provision the server and we'll never modify the things manually. Okay, so kind of thing. So even so I'm going to fall into the immutable infra even for job creation also. That means if I want to create a new job in Jenkins, so I will run some piece of code. So that will go and create a job. Actually, I will not go and do it manually on the UI. Okay, so that's the scope like most of the people are trying to approach. And so immutable infra is one of the best practice, or the better practice in the DevOps area, which we're doing. So that's where I would prefer here to go with Jenkins and properly follow the immutable way of doing it. Okay, so for doing that, so I can provision some Terraform and create an instance. So that's not a big deal. But later, Terraform will probably call some script kind of thing, so to set up everything, right? So that piece will just concentrate now, and we'll go and install Jenkins. We'll go and install the Jenkins. Now, all the piece of configuration, whatever we have done, we'll be just going and trying to, we'll be just going that and try to do that with the script, okay, and with the right way. And how do you do that, first of all? Okay, so yeah, so definitely it's not a easy work. You'll be doing that a lot of effort, but even that effort actually will help you in certain times if your Jenkins server is a kind of down or something like that. Okay, so the reproducibility, that means recreation of the complete environment, is much simpler at that point of time, so which you'll have the utmost benefit. And also we will yeah, achieve like so kind of a minimal downtime basically. So let's go and find it out in the next video. So how to install the server and how do you gain the immutability. And basically what I'm going to do is I'll just keep this server aside and I'll create one more server and I'll try to run some scripts, or create some scripts and run some scripts, and that particular scripts should avoid so the UI whatever I'm getting it, right? So basically so when I install the Jenkins, what all the UI I get it, I'll just try to avoid that by running some automation in the backend. How to do that and all, we'll see in the next video. Thank you.